If you want to participate, contact me at ordinarywomenpodcast@gmail.com. I'm sure you have great projects to brag about. You can also follow me and message me on Instagram at Ordinary Women Podcast, on Twitter at Ordinary Women PC, or on Facebook on the page Ordinary Women. Hi everyone, welcome to a new episode of Ordinary Women. I'm welcoming Ioanna today. Hi, how are you?
Hi, Lucy. I'm great. How are you?
I'm great too. Really, really excited to have you here today. Can you start by giving us a quick introduction of yourself, please?
Of course. So, my name is Ioanna Margaroni. I am from Greece and I have been living in Greece for my whole life. I actually studied finance. I worked about 10 years in finance departments and accounting offices. And, well, the rest is for the for the interview, I guess. But
Yeah.
I like traveling a lot. I like pivoting in life, because change is
Nice.
the only constant.
That is so true. Where did you last travel?
Switzerland.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Nice.
It was a very short trip, but I actually felt like home. I went not to a big city, close to nature, more like it, and wow, it felt like home.
I love this. And can you tell us something unusual about yourself?
Of course. One of the unusual things about myself is that I adore waking up at 4 a.m. I don't do it always. I need to sleep quite early, of course, the previous night, but I like waking up at 4 a.m. because everything is so quiet and people's minds are also very quiet. So it's the ideal time of the day to meditate, to write, to study. I just love it.
I love that. How often do you do it?
I used to do it for years, but after a while I lost my groove. But I try to do it at least twice per week now until probably I find my groove again.
Wow, that's super cool. That's so interesting. Yeah, I also try to wake up quite early, but definitely not 4. But yeah, the morning is so peaceful. It's so nice.
Yes, it's sacred time, really.
Yeah, I love that. Thank you for sharing. Obviously, on this podcast, we talk a lot about what it's like to be a woman. So, I like to start by asking, was there a moment or an event in your life when you realized that you are a woman?
Well, let's first start from my definition of how I feel like
Hmm.
a woman. And women are the they create life. Life originates from women, and I define being a woman like a person who can initiate things, new things. So when I realized what it means to be a woman was actually recently meaning 5 years, when I actually understood the strength of the feminine aspect in me and how I can give birth to projects, to new chapters in my life, to artistic creations, and all of that. And this started when I got deeper into spiritual healing work in the realm of the priestess, nothing that you see ordinarily in this world, but there I started connecting with my nature, the cyclical nature of woman and of the moon. So there I really got deeper to what it means to be a woman, at least for me.
I love that. That's so interesting. How did you come across this?
It was after some painful years of being disconnected from the real me. I was working, like I said, in finance departments in big companies, and I didn't like it. I felt deeply unfulfilled. So I had health issues and also issues with my menstruation and my period, like an irregular cycle and pain. So it was a path, like a long, long path of discovery. And at some point, after discovering fitness and then yoga and then meditation and mantra chanting, then I found Goddess Rising, which is an organization in the United States. There were two actually amazing women, Achintya Devi and Joanna Meya Cohen, who shared about the feminine rhythm, the four phases of the menstrual cycle, and what power each of the four phases of the menstrual cycle hides. And I started getting deeper to it. I reconnected to that. And it was, I think, the most pivotal moment because there were many, but this it was wow, wow.
Yeah.
I don't think I have words to explain.
Yeah, I really only started to also get an interest on like the whole menstrual cycle and the four phases, etc. And I find it so annoying that I'm only learning about it now because it's such an important thing, like of to understand your body and how you work during different time of the month and everything.
Yeah, absolutely. Being disconnected from our own innate power, this is what has been happening for years and for centuries now. And I feel the same way. I feel the same way that I was too late when it comes to discovering this ancient wisdom. But I try to flip it when my mind is saying, oh, you're too late or you're too old. And I say to myself, but now you can share this knowledge. And we can teach this to other women. We can suggest books. We can teach this to younger women, to girls, and share this treasure, this knowledge, this sacred knowledge.
Yeah, completely. I love this. Yeah. And did you grow up with any women role model?
Actually, yes. And it's not just one, it's two, if I can share both of them.
Yeah.
So, looking back, I see my maternal grandmother as my first role model because after school I went to her house and she cooked for us, for me and my brother, and she took care of all the household, everything like the finances, the shopping, she cooked, she cleaned and everything while my mother was at work and while my grandfather was at work too. So I admire her because of the power she had to be the caretaker and be so determined. You know, she made all the decisions, or most of the decisions, I think, at least. And the word that comes to mind is sovereign. You know, the woman of the house. That's it. That's it for my grandmother. She was smart. She was quick in thinking, and I believe that I got pivoting as a strength and resilience from her. But I only realize this now. You know, it's many years since that time. And the second role model is my mom because she raised us, me and my brother again, in the best possible way. She gave us the best education possible, and while also having a full-time job. This is why she needed my first role model, my grandmother, to help her with it. And When I think about my mother and my grandmother, I am, of course, grateful for how they raised me and what they gave me, and that was everything in their power. And I like to see my role in this world also as a person who can, actually, a woman who can bring healing into the lineage because there's always something to heal, something to look back and change, in the DNA of the family, if I can use that term. And this is my way of saying thank you to them and to the women that came before.
Oh, that's so cute. I love it. I love the word sovereign. I haven't heard it in ages, but I really like these words. Um, yeah, they both sound incredible. Um, yeah. And do you currently have any women role model or inspirations?
Actually, there are many women that I can see. One of them is Catherine Zenkina. She's the founder of Manifestation Babe, and she is one of my role models and teachers because she is a woman who managed to tap into the laws of manifestation and really understand manifestation from a practical aspect and create the life that she wants. And I believe that everyone has that power, and we can start using that muscle of manifestation, start learning about it, and really love ourselves to the point that we will give ourselves whatever we desire and our dreams. I'm only learning about this stuff, but I can tell you with certainty that they work. And whenever I have doubts, whenever I'm doubting myself, I just listen to her or watch some Instagram posts of hers, and I come back to alignment with my sovereignty and power. And maybe sovereignty is a word that you will be hearing a lot if you stick with me.
Okay, interesting. I love it. Yeah, I'll definitely check her out. Yeah, didn't know her at all. And do you think that the lack of representation of women in society had an impact on you?
To be honest, I hadn't really realized about that underrepresentation until recently when I started studying and watching and reading more about businesses and women in companies. It makes me sad, or it made me, let me use past tense here, it made me sad and disappointed, but I'd like to flip that and turn it into determination and stubbornness in order to fully come into my power and use my gifts and skills to support women into creating the life they want, having the jobs they want. And in this way, that representation percentage will definitely change.
Definitely. I hope. Well, yeah, that's what I'm trying to do. Trying to. Yeah, I hope more women will do what they want and then inspire other people.
Oh, yes, yes. And you are one of those women, right? That you are trying to make a change, to make something different in this world. So you taking the stand and creating Ordinary Women and this podcast, which is only the beginning, I'm sure, It's amazing, and you should congratulate yourself every single day for doing this and stepping up.
Oh, thank you. I don't do that, I'm gonna admit. But yeah, I should. I
You
should.
should, you should. Don't forget about it because you need that fuel to do more and to have what
Mm.
you want in life and what you deserve, and you really deserve a lot. Like every single woman in this world, every single person. It's like building muscles. There's nothing different. So it needs repetition and determination and stubbornness.
I love that. I'll keep that in mind. Thank you. I'd like to jump on kind of the second part of this podcast and talk about something that you've done, a project, life experience, call it however you want. What do you want to talk to us about today?
I would like to talk about me creating my own business and becoming an entrepreneur, which happened quite recently in 2021. So it's a multifaceted business because what I do is life coaching with energy healing and menstrual cycle awareness from the practical perspective.
Interesting. So, how did you start? What happened?
I felt initially deeply unfulfilled in my previous jobs. I was working, like I said before, in the finance department of big companies, but I didn't like it. I even think I was not good enough. Somehow I convinced my bosses that I was very, very good. I mean, I was diligent and I was doing my job, but I wasn't like people who really, really liked their job in
Mm,
there, and I
yeah.
could see that. So I also manifested several psychosomatic symptoms, maybe. Many of those, of course, I was deeply unhappy and I felt empty, like I had nothing in life, really nothing good to to expect. So somehow I was fired because there was the company was downsizing. So I was happy in that day, and everyone at work told me, "Wow, you look so happy, unlike any other person who would have no job as of this moment." So then I tried again to go back to the same work because this is what I knew how to do. I sent 200 resumes, 200 CVs, and I got no replies. Maybe one from a call center and nothing more. So I started looking at things in a different way. It took years, of course, right? It wasn't easy.
Mm,
It wasn't fun always.
yeah.
But looking at it from this moment now, I see that there was a major energetic misalignment at that point. And what I mean is that I was not made for that, and I could see it, but the conditioning I had received from family, from schools, and from society in general made me try even harder to stay there. And this was an energetic misalignment. So, my alignment is to be in women's circles and do coaching to women in the menstrual cycle aspect, also doing energetic readings. And there I am so happy. I can't describe how elated I am after every single session. So I started this because it was a matter of health, but also fulfillment.
Yeah, or it just like, I mean, I don't know, from what you're saying, it sounds like it just feels right. That's super interesting. And so how did that happen? Like, what did you do? How did the reflection come? What did you do in the meantime? Like, what happened?
It took me at least 5, maybe 6 years to really create this business because I still had the mindset of an employee. I didn't know how to do things. Plus, behind all these thoughts, there was, of course, the fears, the perceived limitations, the procrastination, and the real reasons behind that procrastination, which usually can be summed up like, I'm not good enough. I cannot do this. So I started watching role models, people who had created already their own businesses similar to mine, similar to what I had in mind. And I started watching them to see how they did things. I hired a coach at some point, and she also referred a web designer. So I created also my website. I consulted an accountant. I did everything that seems, practical, the practical
Yeah.
aspects of the business. However, I also tried to work through all those limiting beliefs and the fears and the perceived limitations because usually they're not so real. Um, and I consider being a business person, specifically, let's talk about women. So, being a businesswoman is the highest form of personal development for me because it's overcoming every single limitation about money, about being worth of making good money, and so many other things. So it's like being personal development 2.0. It's the next level.
Um, and like even before it, I'm curious to know like how did this idea of the business happen? Like how did you talked a bit about how you discovered these inspiring figures and reconnecting with yourself, etc. Like what happened? Did you just like stumble upon these or like trying to be better and then that's when you found that? Or like yeah, what happened?
Wow. Let me take you back to 2011, maybe. So I started getting several certifications on things that called me without really having a plan, like fitness instructor, yoga instructor, kids yoga instructor, energy healing. And I continued without really knowing where I would use them, other than myself, really. And when I started practicing these modalities to practice not clients because they weren't at that time clients, but I needed to have, some case studies to get my certification. So when I started offering those sessions, people gave me good feedback. They told me that they actually had results. And I started thinking maybe I should do it more professionally, although it took a long time to really set it up. But there was always this nudge, you're good at it, from within, but mostly from other people. And this is when I started considering this even more seriously. And of course, with the financial crisis in Greece, which started about a decade ago, maybe even more, I can't even remember, and me not finding a job after sending way too many CVs, I really became more decisive when it comes to creating my own business. I had no clue on how to do it, but I devoted myself to doing it. And this is how I actually started calling in the coaches, the accountants, the consultants, and everything. Because sometimes it's a matter of communicating what we want. And I will also say communicating to the universe what we want. I said, I want to create my business and support women into remembering their own power and their own sovereignty and creating the life of their dreams. So when I became open to that, and when I really expressed it, things started showing up. Not without challenges, of course, but through the challenges I grew. So it was a bumpy ride, but sometimes it was a very pleasant ride.
That's great. So what challenges have you faced, for instance?
Ooh, okay. First of all, it's the self doubts
Mm,
because I never thought that I could do that. I thought that it's difficult. I had convinced myself that this would be difficult. I did not know marketing, um, many things in terms of
yeah.
insecurities, but I embraced them. And I embraced actually myself to acknowledge these, that they exist, and then take it one step at a time and start thinking, what if I can do it? What if I am the type of woman that can have their business and make an impact in the world? What other, oh, yes, of course, the financial crisis in Greece was a challenge for me
Yeah.
because of that situation in the external environment, but also because it reinforced a mindset that there isn't enough to go about. I know that it can be a reality, but I also have the conviction, and this is something that Catherine Zenkina showed me, that we live in an abundant universe. So when I opened up to that possibility and I started believing it, I started writing affirmations, mantras, I discovered that there is abundance. There is abundance, and we can create it from within, and we can connect to the abundance of the universe around us. And when those two frequencies meet, there is magic happening. I know it can sound woo, but it's the energetic aspect that meets the practical aspect and the aspect of the mindset, and put all those three together and shift can actually happen. I know because I have created it. I have shifted a minor percentage yet of my life when it comes to my business specifically, and I know there's more because there is also proof. There are people who have done it. And like I said in the beginning, women are the creators. So guess what? We can create anything we want.
Yeah. What's the next thing you want to change or that you are trying to? I mean, if it's not, if you don't mind sharing that.
Of course. You said, what's the next thing I want to change, right?
Yeah. Or like, what are you trying to change at the moment? Because you said that you have shifted, or like shifted maybe is the word that you used. You said
Yeah.
that you shifted only a small part yet. Do you know? Maybe you don't know.
Maybe there's too many and I can't decide.
Yeah.
Well, let me see. There is one thing that I'm very excited about. I want to also add inspirational speaker to my business. I want to
Hmm.
be on stage and speak in front of an audience and inspire people to pursue their dreams. This has been calling me for the last year or two, especially after I joined an organization which is international. It's called Toastmasters. So I joined them casually, really, but after seeing how aligned I am with the energy on stage and speaking in front of an audience, I thought, wait a minute, this is in alignment with my soul mission. And when I pursue it, I open up to more abundance. And I have seen that. I mean, I give a speech And then a few people approach me and they want to work with me. And they are people actually that are not from that setting. You know, they didn't see me giving the actual speech. And this is what is the energetic alignment that I mean. We have a
Mm.
specific mission, specific gifts, and when we pursue them and when we embody them and integrate them to the best of our ability, we can see things starting shifting. And I was consistent to with that, and I can share that about 2 weeks ago, I became the national champion here in Greece for the Toastmasters contest. And in May, I'm going to Milan for the next level of the contest, the district contest. And I'm so excited about it. And I'm
Mm.
thinking even more, oh, maybe I do belong on the stage.
I love that. Congratulations. That's super, super exciting.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool. Well, yeah, I hope that, I'm sure that you'll soon add that to your business. That's really cool. And was there anything that you find easier than you thought initially would be?
Yes. Yes, actually, there are a few things that come to mind. So, one is the finances. I mean, invoicing, the practical aspect of the business, like invoicing,
Mm.
sending the links to the payment links to clients and all that. I didn't know where to start from. There are many platforms, many services offered when it comes to payments, for instance, or invoice issuing. And I did not know where to start from, but I did my research. Then I calmed my overactive mind that said, no, no, too many, you can't do this, it's impossible. And so I started having a plan and putting things into little boxes 1, 2, 3, because I can get overwhelmed. And ladies, if you feel overwhelmed, just try to simplify things and know that they are going to work out. Make this your mantra. So when I started doing this, and actually I was doing that before our interview today, it became easier. It became easier because I believed that it was easier. It was 1 step, 2 steps, 3 steps, and we're done. I have an amazing accountant. I found her, and she takes care of everything, even my overactive mind. And settling all those things for me was the best thing I ever did. I thought I couldn't, but I actually could. The lies we tell ourselves, huh?
Yeah, completely. I love that you still, yeah, did. And yeah, that it actually became easier. I love that. And that, yeah, you still have people to help you. Yeah. And actually, was there anyone who had an impact on you doing this?
Yes, there is a coach that I hired maybe 2 years ago to help me start my business. And she had an impact because she was the not exact opposite, but definitely an opposite to my overactive mind and to the overwhelm that I was constantly feeling. And she helped me create those little boxes and put things that I needed to do to launch my business and my programs in order. She really helped me because she was so calm. I was like, I cannot do this. There's too many things, but where to start? And she said, okay, so by next time, what will you have done and how? What are the next steps? You've got this. But calm. I've never seen such calm and confidence. And she really made an impact. And actually, she was one of the people that I wished for in my life. At some point in 2020, 20 or 21, asked from the universe to please send my way people that are like-minded, people that are committed to personal development and to helping people develop. And voila, I somehow found her.
Amazing. How did you find her?
Actually, I was a little bit before the pandemic. I had applied to a startup incubator, a series of workshops, and she was not leading it, but she was there in a few meetings as a consultant. And a year later, I thought maybe I should contact her and ask her if she does coaching for new entrepreneurs. And it was an amazing idea, which I believe it was not just mine, it was mine, spirits, higher selves, universes, you know, it was from a higher power too. And she had slots to work with me. And it was a great collaboration. It was a very difficult time in my life for various reasons, not just because of the business aspect. And she was my anchor. She really helped me ground and create my next steps and a new chapter in my life.
She sounds amazing. That's so great. And why are you proud of this business, of what you've accomplished?
I am proud because I could never see me having my own business and becoming so organized and more creative and more intuitive, and having an organized life was not really my style, but I now can see how it helps me, what an impact it has in my life, various aspects of my life. So I'm proud of making this happen because I could really never see me here. It's that personal development, that personal expansion that I was talking about earlier. It was a massive upgrade, and I'm so proud.
I love that. Thank you so much for sharing. And I think we're going to conclude our episode on that. Thank you so much. That was so interesting listening to all of this and chatting with you. So thank you so much. Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much for showing up somehow on my LinkedIn feed, and we actually made this connection and this interview happen. Amazing.
Yeah, completely. And there is a tradition in this podcast that the guest gets the very last word. So the mic is yours.
Ooh. Yeah, I'd like to share a mantra, actually an affirmation, if you'd like, that helped me tremendously overcome many limiting beliefs that I had and resistance to making the next steps. It's a muscle, it's a daily practice, and it goes like this: if I can do this, I can do anything. And I use it when I do something, even if it is simple, but if I was avoiding it maybe or I didn't like it, in order for my brain to get used to the fact that it can do this and it can do more and it can do more and it can do even more.